Hi everyone, and welcome back as I take a look at another UFO episode, Timelash. Well, this one starts off rather dramatically. Straker's in Shadow headquarters smashing up Shadow equipment, and he gets involved in a fight with Shadow personnel before leaving Shadow HQ and running around the studio lot above. He's pursued by Foster and the security guards. Foster is completely bemused. What is going on? And this mystery deepens as Foster and security guards come across a dead Shadow operative who's been shot in a studio car of some sort. Anyway, Foster eventually apprehends Straker. He finds him on top of a roof with Colonel Virginia Lake, who's out cold, and inside Straker's pocket is a drug of some sort. So Straker is taken down to medical center and the investigation starts. They've already got this big mystery. How did Straker get into Shadow headquarters? He wasn't meant to be there. Who shot the Shadow operative? What was Virginia Lake doing on the roof unconscious? All these questions will be revealed. Henderson orders the psychiatrist Jackson to open up Straker's mind and authorizes a dangerous drug to be used. They want answers. So that's exactly what Jackson does. He does warn Henderson there could be some serious consequences of using this particular drug, but Henderson says, look, go ahead, do it. We got a load of questions here and we need answers. They can't get any answers out of Virginia Lake because she's got concussion, so she cannot remember what has happened since she was picked up at the airport by Straker. So Jackson administers the drug and opens up Straker's mind. He tells Straker to go back 5 hours. And that's exactly what Straker does, and the story starts to unfold. Straker has picked up Virginia Lake, and it's evening time. Out of the blue, a UFO appears. Straker falls under attack in his car with Colonel Lake. Now, the UFO could have easily obliterated Straker. He doesn't seem to take that on board. It could have easily obliterated him. It didn't. It didn't for one reason. It wanted Straker to stop the car. And that's exactly what happens. Then something peculiar happens to Straker and Colonel Lake. They undergo some sort of strange process from the UFO. The UFO then leaves. So Straker, thinking it's all over, he drives into the studio lot. It's night time, but on the other side, daylight. Something is amiss. And something is very odd. As Straker and Colonel Lake walk around the lot, they discover people have been frozen in time. They just don't move. They're walking around, carrying out this investigation. They don't understand what's going on. Everybody is frozen in time. So Straker then takes his investigation down into Shadow headquarters, where he starts to assemble the pieces of the puzzle and discover Shadow personnel are also frozen in time, but not all of them are frozen. Turner is working for the aliens. Straker discovers certain pieces of Shadow equipment can be picked up, moved around, so on, and realises when the incident occurred, anything that was in motion at the time was frozen in time. Everything else remained okay. But the effects of what is going on is starting to catch up with Straker and Colonel Lake. Straker and Colonel Lake make for the medical centre, where Straker picks up a dangerous X50 super stim drug and administers it to himself and Lake. Of course, by now Turner is making his presence known, and what pursues is a chase around the studio lot, trying to pursue Turner. Turner is being very cocky. He's giving away information. He's saying that he is outside time. He can start controlling time. And he's getting a bit cocky. And his cockiness and arrogance, as Straker and Virginia Lake are chasing him around, it suddenly sinks into Straker's head. We can't catch this guy. He's outside time. We can't do it. So Straker decides there's only one course of action. This UFO that intercepted him before he entered the studio is obviously on its way through this barrier. It's slowly penetrating the barrier, and there's just one thing left open for Straker: the volley. And that's exactly what he goes for. He gets the volley. He aims it at the UFO, which is now appearing in the sky. But Turner sneaks up on Straker and Colonel Lake. He knocks Colonel Lake out. He steals the key to the volley, the arming mechanism of it. And what pursues is a chase with Straker and Turner. Turner now is really playing time. He can repeat himself. He can go backwards and forwards and so on. And he gets overconfident. He gets cocky with Straker. And it reaches the point where he tells Straker, you don't know where I am. You can only see where I'm going to be or where I was, not where I am. So in this final scene, Straker just spins around with the machine gun, just spraying bullets in the air, which of course hits Turner where he really is. So Straker retrieves the key, heads back up to the rooftop where the volley is, rearms it obviously. The UFO's now closing in. He's only got one crack at hitting this UFO. And that's exactly what happens. He hits the UFO. He doesn't actually destroy the UFO, but he clearly damages the UFO. And the UFO then flies away. From there, Straker heads back down to Shadow headquarters, starts to bust the place up, because Turner's already informed him he put a piece of alien technology into one of Shadow's computers. Again, Turner being cocky, thinking, he's on the winning side, which clearly he wasn't. And of course, when Straker hits the particular Shadow piece of equipment, we are back to the beginning of the episode where he's going around busting the place up and getting involved in a fight with Shadow personnel. So it's all now revealed of the events that happened in those missing 5 hours. What happened was Straker and Colonel Lake were involved in chasing Turner around in a millimetre of time, a second of time, call it what you like. Everything else was frozen, but because Turner's cockiness, he was giving Straker information. Straker was putting all the pieces together, and of course, eventually, obviously, Straker won. Yeah, it's a quite good episode actually. Timelash. It's a right romp of an episode. Got some interesting effects in it for its time, And yeah, it's another one of those back end episodes which were very peculiar. But it's a good romp. It's a great episode. It just shows another trick that the aliens were capable of doing, and that is freezing time for a mere second. And on that note, have a great day. Goodbye.